Well, it looks like it's time to find that special sock once again because Deadpool is on his way back. We've been hearing rumors for a while that Ryan Reynolds is working on some kind of follow-up project, most likely X-Force, but earlier today, a very familiar face seems to be finding his way back to the MCU and will make the perfect teammate for Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about who it is, where this news comes from, and what big X-Men character might be on their way into the MCU. Now, earlier this month, we found out that Deadpool and Wolverine writer and star Ryan Reynolds is working on a new Deadpool project. Now, when he announced this, he made it very clear he wanted Deadpool to kind of be more in a supporting role and separate from the primary X-Men franchise. The report said this could have up to 3 or 4 characters from the grander X-Men world. And that immediately led to a ton of thought around this film actually being a X-Force movie. X-Force was thrown around in the second Deadpool movie, and obviously the team didn't survive too well minus Sugar Bear. But with Wolverine joining his world, well, the door is opening up to a much bigger team, some of which include former characters and maybe even some of the MCU X-Men. Now remember, this hasn't been announced by Marvel Studios yet, but the trades have broke the news about Reynolds' plans. But most of the news that we've learned about X-Force, or at least it being an X-Force inspired movie, have come via that middle ground which is mostly made up of media scoopers. Now, the most recent report has My Time to Shine Hello diving in on the topic, and like we always like to say, it's not Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, or in this case, Ryan Reynolds. So we're going to take it with a grain of salt and reflect on their track record in recent years because it's not always perfect. Now, what they're reporting is along with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Josh Brolin will return to the MCU as Cable. As the third member of this particular team, Cable is a pretty perfect character to be joining it, and I could definitely see him standing shoulder to shoulder with some of the characters we met in the last Deadpool movie that you would think made it into that grander X-Men world we saw at the conclusion. This opens the possibility of not only X-23, but maybe even Gambit being part of this sort of X-Force inspired team. But My Time to Shine actually dropped a name that I wasn't expecting, and they are claiming that this group of characters will be joined by the new MCU Storm. Now, to be fair, Aurora Monroe really doesn't have much in the form of history with X-Force, but that isn't necessarily what this movie is, and that name has been more assigned by the scoopers than Reynolds himself. Now, quite honestly, just those 4 characters is pretty big, and there's still room for some of these other supporting characters we would like to see. I think fans will be more than excited to see Josh Brolin return as Cable. His interpretation of the character in the second Deadpool movie was spot on, and he was an absolute joy in that film. Josh Brolin is a fun actor, and based on some interviews he's done, well, it seems to me he's more than keen to come back for the role. Now, what's interesting though is the potential for Jackman returning in this project as Logan suggests that some aspects of the multiverse will stick around for the foreseeable future, or he becomes the new MCU Wolverine, but we'll leave that one for a different video. Now, the running joke was Disney was going to make him do it till he's 90, and although I don't think they're going to make him play Wolverine till he's 90, I think he's going to be sticking around for a couple of more years, and not only will we see him probably in Secret Wars, but quite possibly in this Ryan Reynolds film. Now, who else could be part of this project? Well, the list is pretty long. I definitely could see maybe even Archangel or Psylocke showing up in this project. Psylocke was teased in the last film, at least a variant was, and Archangel would be a character that would get fans super excited. Now, another thing I think would get fans really excited would be the return of Zazie Beetz as Domino. She was actually part of that team with Cable and Deadpool in Deadpool 2, and honestly, a lot of fans were sort of disappointed she was nowhere to be found in the most recent Deadpool movie, so bringing her back for this would be absolutely perfect. Now, in any case, Ryan Reynolds has maximum creative freedom here, pretty much able to do anything he wants, but I do suspect he'll stay right in his lane, providing us with some surprises like he did in Deadpool and Wolverine, but not drifting too far into the proper MCU, allowing his story to stand on its own. Obviously, we're going to watch this one pretty closely. Deadpool and Wolverine was too big of a hit not to follow up on, and if the next little installment we get is not Deadpool 4, but an X-Force movie, well, I don't think fans will leave disappointed. But we're going to have to wait and see. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.